get some emails sometimes asking about Bocconi, but I don't usually answer them because either I don't have time to give a good enough answer or because I think that the answer could benefit everybody. So I wanted to go through my email right now while typing in the word Bocconi and just read you guys some of the questions and answer some of them because I think they could be useful for you guys. Somebody asked, what are the likeliness of an American getting a job after college in Italy? I mean, like I said, if you speak Italian and you have I'm trying to choose my words like carefully here. Let's say in-demand degree in a in-demand sector, so I'm talking like engineering or finance, then you will be fine. Like, all of my friends have found jobs. Will you be making 100K a year? Probably not, but you'll find work, or at the very least be able to support yourself through English teaching until something that you do like comes along. What is the process like for you applying as an international student at Bocconi? It was pretty straightforward and honestly easier than the others, I think. Well, in some ways it was easier. It was easier in terms of like what we had to do. Like, you didn't have to take the Bocconi entrance test. You just had to take like the SAT or the ACT, some kind of aptitude test to get in, which for Americans is pretty easy because we prepare for the SATs like pretty much our whole lives. Unfortunately, it's kind of a waste. So like that was pretty easy. And then you had to write a motivational letter. I wrote mine in English and Italian, and then they ended up not even wanting the Italian one. So I wrote a motivational letter as to why I wanted to get into Bocconi, and then your grades. And they judge you on those three things. And once they judge you on those three things and decide if you're in, you just have to send a bunch of documents to them. The documents is the hard part because you also have to get them sometimes translated, which is expensive. You pretty much always got to get them legalized, which is also expensive. So the hard part is going to be like getting all the documents together and then sending them back to Bocconi. I don't want to say it's easy because so many things have changed in 3 years, and I bet you if you asked me this 3 years ago, I would have told you it was hard as shit. But I don't know. Right now, I mean, regardless of if it's hard or easy, you're going to make it. You're going to end up where I am and be comfortable. And that's the important part. But I don't remember it being like particularly hard to apply as an international student. And international students are in demand at Bocconi. If you're an international student with good grades, you will probably get in because they want us. And by good grades, I mean A's. How are the classes structured? I don't really know what you mean. But the classes are structured, they're usually larger and they're in a lecture hall, and they're mostly all lectures. There's not really a lot of interactivity going on until like the third year. If you're in third year courses, then you might get some like group projects and stuff like I just said, but for the first 2 years and for the most of the degree, you're just sitting in a class listening to a professor lecture, and it's usually every day. From 8 to sometimes 8:45 to sometimes like 8 at night, and the first 2 years. The third year I had a pretty like free schedule. I only had to go to school like 3 days a week. It was amazing. Finish your exams on time. That's the best advice I could give to somebody coming into Bocconi, because people get so hung up on GPA that they end up like focusing too much on like taking exams, and then they end up having to take a lot of exams at once, which is so stressful. A lot of the times their GPA isn't that much better, and then at the end of the day, like, jobs really aren't looking at your GPA. I mean, if your CV has nothing else, then they're going to look at your GPA, but what a job really values is a decent GPA and a lot of work experience. So the best thing I can tell you guys is to like get out there while you're in college, try to do some internships, even though in Italy they're not paid. Try to build up your CV as much as you can in these 3 years, because that's going to be way more important than the GPA. And finish your exams early so you can have time to do all of these things, so you don't have to spend all your time studying and catching up on classes that you have to make up. How's the residence life? If the residence is like university and independent, the residence life, I only lived in the residence 1 year, and it was different. It was nothing like the American residence. The residences aren't like dorms. Dorms in America actually suck, guys. Come on. You pay a lot, like sometimes $10,000 a year, to share a room with sometimes multiple people, like 4 people, and sleep on bunk beds in a really small space. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll have like a little kitchen in there, but most times not. And then you have like a communal bathroom that maybe everybody on the floor shares. The residences at Bocconi were more like apartments, where you would have an apartment where everybody had their own room, and then like a communal kitchen, and then a bathroom where you shared with maybe one person. It was more like a shared apartment than it was a dorm, so that was one thing. But I think that Bocconi gets pluses for that, because I wouldn't really want to live in the American dorms. But in terms of like parties and stuff, which is the American college life that you see on TV, Bocconi doesn't really have much of that. What parties are sometimes groups of students arranging something in like the common area of the residence, but it's not like house party American style, red Solo cups, beer pong, kegs. Like, it's not like that at all. A lot of the parties are out in this city, like they go to clubs and stuff. I wouldn't say that this aspect is necessarily negative. It's just different from the American style. And what other part of school is there? Like student life. Associations. They have clubs at Bocconi which are called associations. They're different from clubs though, because pretty much for every association you have to apply to get in and get accepted to get in. Which is not which is not true for American clubs and like clubs and associations. And also, like, since Bocconi is so demanding, since it's like you have to do so much stuff, and like I said, sometimes you're at school from 8 to 8, you don't really have a lot of time to do stuff with your association. I mean, I was in an association this year and I really wish I could have done more, but I couldn't because of time restraints. So you can join clubs, but it's not the same as America. The clubs are still fun. The clubs are still fun though. Like, my association was really cool. I did a lot of cool stuff with them. Like, I worked with a lot of cool companies, got to meet a lot of cool people and do a lot of cool events. But in terms of like, I wasn't able to enjoy it to the fullest because I never really had time. The professors are like anywhere else. You'll have your good professors, you'll have your bad professors, you'll have professors that are pretty good in English, you'll have professors that don't know how to speak English. I mean, I don't know if that happens in America, that you have professors that don't know how to speak in English. I mean, I'm not talking about an accent. I know the Italian accent. My boyfriend is Italian and he has an accent. I can totally get through an Italian accent. But I'm talking about people that can't make coherent sentences, can't differentiate between past, present, and future, never use the interrogative form, so you don't even know that they're asking you a question. They'll go on to say this long sentence and then there will be silence because apparently it was a question and we were just supposed to know. Like, no, I mean, a part of me understands that the professor's English may not be, we could have that problem because a lot of these professors, I mean, they've been in Italy their whole lives and their whole career, and unless you use a language, you're not going to necessarily be very good in it, especially when you're explaining like complicated things like economic theory and financial calculus. So you're not going to be able to really express yourself as well because a lot of them were in Italy their whole careers. They spent their whole careers at Bocconi, so really, where were they going to learn this English? So I understand it. Most of the native English speakers teach at universities in America or in the UK, so we don't have a lot of native English speaking professors. But I mean, it's just something you get around. Like, I was able to get over it. I'm trying to think. My professor, even the professors that had the worst English, like, I still was able to like get the notes from somebody's study and get a decent grade from the class. It was just kind of annoying to see that I, as the native English speaker, had to ask my Italian friends what my professor just said because I couldn't understand anything. But yeah, but in terms of like, but the thing is, the professors at Bocconi are great because whether they know how to speak English or not, they're always super qualified. I mean, we had the best of professors. Like, the best economics professors in Italy teach at Bocconi. So that was cool. We had quality professors that were always super qualified. Our president, the president of our school, was the prime minister of Italy a couple of years ago. So just, those are the kind of people that work at Bocconi. But well, he doesn't work, but I'm going on a tangent. Professors are for the most part good, but watch out for the English. The style of living in Milan is amazing. It's the perfect mix of laid back but still structured. Like, it's a nice city, laid out well, pretty organized, decent public transportation. The public transportation is super cheap. Like, if you're a student, you'll pay 22 euros a month for public transportation. I don't know any other metropolitan city that does that, and at least the metro works very, very well. So life in Milan is amazing. I've always said that my life would have been perfect these 3 years if I didn't have to go to school, because like life is good in Milan. I can't imagine myself living anywhere else. Okay, this person is pretty much asking if you're able to find jobs with just an undergraduate degree. I'd say yes. I mean, there's some rumors that if you don't get a master's, you're not going to be able to move up in a company, which isn't really something. I don't want to spend my whole life in one company, or like that's not my vision of work. So I would have never wanted to do that. But some people say you'll have a harder time moving up in positions if you don't have a master's. I don't know how true that is, but you will definitely find jobs. You'll find jobs. I know plenty of people with just an undergraduate from Bocconi that were able to work. There seems to be this discrepancy on the quality of work you'll be able to find with a bachelor's, but I don't think that's really relevant. If you graduate from Bocconi and you speak Italian, it does a lot for you. SAT score was, I think my SAT score was like an 1890 or 1980, I can't remember, one of the two, but it wasn't like extremely high, it was just decent. So I'm sure you'll be fine. And that was with writing, math, and reading. I think without the writing, because I guess some people evaluated on that, I had like 1,200 or maybe a little less than 1,200, 1,160. I can't remember, but my SAT was not amazing. I think I got more in because of my CV. My CV was pretty good, and my grades, because my grades were perfect. They asked if they could get in with an 8.5 media, like a GPA from high school, and I'd say yeah, an 8.5 isn't bad, especially if you went to like Liceo Scientifico or something. Somebody asked me about apartments and stuff. I am going to make an entire video on finding the perfect apartment in Milan, like I did, and I'm gonna let you guys know about it. But this is my 3rd year experience at Bocconi. That's it, guys. It's all wrapped up. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna really be talking much about Bocconi anymore now that I don't go there. Just an alum. But anyways, if you guys have more comments, write them in this comment section below and I will try to answer you. And if I can't answer you, I'm sure that other people around that go to Bocconi will be able to answer you in this comment section. Quite a few people from Bocconi follow me on my channel. Thank you guys. I love you guys. So yeah, we'll try to get your questions answered here. You'll get better answers here. I'm sorry, but when you email me personally, I'm usually super busy, and so I read the email and I say I'm gonna respond to this later, but then I end up being busy later, and then I just end up never responding because just too busy. So write your comments here where you will be 80% sure to get them answered. That's about it, you guys. I hope you like this video. I hope you guys like this journey. You will be seeing quite a few changes in my channel now as it moves from international student to just international person, international self-employed person. And I hope you stick with me for the future, because I'm excited for the future and you guys should be excited for the future of my channel too. So I will see you guys in my next one. Like and subscribe if you haven't already.